Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So here we are going to do the solution for the exercise about the hospital class. So first of all, we download the hospital class inheritance project, NetBeans project, and we open it here, and then we have different classes provided to us. And the first thing we need to do is to do the class patient, and the class patient inherits from the class person. The class person is already provided to us. So for inheritance, we're going to create the class patient, and then we use the keyword extant person here, and then we will add the specific attributes. So when we do extant person, this means all these attributes methods will be inherited, okay, will be inherited in the class patient. And now we have to add specific attributes. So string patient ID is the ID of the patient. Okay, so here I'm going to add string or private string patient ID. Okay, for the data validation, it must start with PA and must have 10 characters length. We have also an array list of reports. So the second attribute is private array list medical reports. Reports is a list of medical reports object from the class medical report. And you have also a toString method which returns a string representation of the patient class in the following format, like this. Okay, so now we have added all the specific attributes. We need to do what? We need to do a constructor. So constructor public patient. Okay, it has full argument constructor. Did it say anything? A constructor with 5 arguments. Okay, what are the 5 arguments? We have 3 here. Okay, we have 3 from the class person inherited, and we have 2 string patient ID, and we have also array list of medical reports. These are 5 arguments. So here we have full argument constructor. Okay, so what is the first thing we need to do here? Yes, we need to initialize the attributes of the superclass, and for this we will use the keyword super, first name, last name, contact. Okay, and even the compilation error has gone. Voila. So the first thing always in the constructor of the subclass is to call the constructor of the superclass. Okay, and then what we should do? Yes, we can use set patient ID, and then patient ID, and set reports. So set reports. So here for the get and set method, we can write them, or also in NetBeans there is insert code. We can use insert code, and then we go getter and setter, and then make generate. Okay, so you will have them very quickly. And of course, it's not sufficient, because here you can see that we have data validation, PA. It must start with PA and must have 10 characters. So in this case, we go to set patient, and we do our data validation here. If patient ID dot start with PA and patient ID dot length equal 10, in this case I will do the assignment, else I throw an exception, throw new illegal argument exception, okay, wrong patient ID. Is it clear? Okay, so here we have to do our data validation. What else? So for medical report it is fine, we don't have anything, and now we need to go for the toString method. Okay, so the toString method, I'm going to do override in any case because it's already defined in the object class. Override public string toString, and then we need to return the following format. So now let's do return string dot format. Okay, so we will do the following: patient ID, so this is %s, and first name. So look now, if we go to the toString method of the superclass, let me bring it here. We have first name, last name, contact, first name, last name, contact. Okay, same thing. Yeah, so in this case what we can do, all of these things, we can replace them by %s or super.toString, and the report will be represented by %s because it is an object. That's it. So the first %s is what? Is the patient ID. The second is super.toString, and the last one reports. واضح?
Doctor, that means on toString always the array list will be %s.
Yes. Array list is %s because it is an object. It is an object, so it is %s. So I think we are done. Anything difficult here? Okay, شكون سواه كامل?
What?
Who did this fully correct? 1, 2, 3. Only? Okay. What was the difficulty for others?
Not for this, but
Let's go to the test
second class.
In the second class. Okay. Okay, let's go to the second class. Hospital employee. This one. Okay, we will create a class called hospital employee. We create a new class. We call it hospital employee. So write a class hospital employee that inherits from person. نفس الشيء extends person. So you can see that the class person is the same class, and I can reuse it to create different classes. And it makes sense because here we can say hospital employee is a person, patient is a person. So there is always the is a relationship. Okay, so this is important to note, the is a relationship. Okay, hospital employee is a person, so it will inherit all the attributes of the person. It has one more specific attribute called employee ID. So here we will add private string employee ID. And then, okay, we have data validation. We have a constructor with 4 arguments. نفس الطريقة. So I can do public hospital employee. So I will take all the attributes of the superclass here, and I will add to them the attribute of the subclass here. So first thing, super. I'm going just to copy it from here. It's the same thing. Okay, this is the first thing we need to do. In the subclass, the constructor of the subclass, we use the keyword super. And then we will use set employee ID and then employee ID. We can generate the get and set method just to save some time. Insert code, getter and setter, employee ID, generate. And of course here we need to do data validation. Okay, if what? If employee ID dot start with em and employee ID dot length equal 10. Okay, anything else? So a toString method that calls the superclass toString method and displays as follows. Okay, implement. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to make override. So I'm going to do here employee ID and then the first name, last name, and that's it. And you have only 2 persons. واضح؟ واضح ولا؟ Yeah, I have to use it. Else we have to also use throws exception here. Wrong employee ID. Okay, so quite simple. The third class. So this is the class that you find difficulty here.
Yes.
Okay. Java class, doctor. So it's very practical to copy the text in front of you like this. Okay, you don't need to go back and forth. This is something practical in the exam. It saves you a lot of time. Okay, I have received many comments in the feedback. Inshallah, I'm going to try to find some time to respond to all the comments that you have. But one of the comments said that when I explain, I have in mind like the students have seen the video. So it's true, I ask you to see the video and you have to. But if I assume that you have seen the video, I will not explain anything again. I will go to the exercises. But I redo, but sometimes I refer to what you have seen in the videos. So the videos are very important. When I tell you before coming to the lecture, see the video, it's very important. And if you don't see the video, so you have to see it later. But the best, from my experience, is that you see it first, and then you come to the lecture. You will understand much better in the lecture than if you see it afterwards.
You didn't go past in hospital employee.
Huh?
Hospital employee. Oh.
Hospital employee.
Class.
Okay.
Just I need to see that.
I will put this in GIT Hub.
You reduce the string, you add the employee ID. So.
Yes, here. Okay. I will put you the code on GIT Hub and on Udemy as well. So you will find it on Udemy and on GIT Hub after the lecture. So write the class doctor that inherits from hospital employee. And again, it makes sense. Do we have the is a relationship?
Yes.
Yes, because doctor is a hospital employee. He's an employee in the hospital, so it makes sense. Okay, so always before you make extant, check whether there is sense to do the is-a relationship between the two classes. It has a static array list called department list. I know this always makes problems to the students. So it's private static. It's an array list of what? Of what? Of string. Equal. Okay. Department lists. Okay, so if we have an array, we used to do something like this. But here we don't have an array. We have an array list. And an array list, we cannot initialize the value in the declaration. So they must be declared where? So for you, you wanted to add these values into the array list, but maybe you didn't know how to do it.
Yes.
How? Equal? Yeah. String. Arrays as list. And then you do the array.
And then we pass it as a simple argument.
Like this. Like this.
Yeah. And then we pass the string value, general as a simple argument.
Simple argument or as list.
Yeah, as list.
Okay. Yeah.
You put the general first string, then comma, then
like this. General.
Then comma, then another string.
Yes, like this. Yeah, it seems to work. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I didn't know this before, but this is one of the ways we can do it. Department list to create an array list like this. Okay. So we use arrays as list here. Yes. Okay. And then internal medicine. Okay.
What this is called? What this is called?
This?
Yeah.
This is the
all the new array string arrays put as list.
So okay, this is now usually we have this is the constructor. Okay, so if you do like this, it's a constructor is going to give you an empty list. Now, if you want to put some initial values in the list, you can put this. Yeah, you can put arrays as list. This is a list, is going to convert into an array, and then the array can be an argument of the constructor of the array list. This one way. So if you don't do it this way, you can just create it like this, and then you can do it inside the constructor. You will add it. But this is much better actually. This is much better. But the other way is actually to do with the constructor. Public doctor. And of course here we will have to inherit all the attributes of person. It's a hospital employee, yes. Hospital employee, we will have this one. Okay. And the first thing what we have to do here, super, and then first name, last name, all these things here. And also employee ID. And then, because this list is empty, what we can do department add, and then we can do general. Okay. We can also do add pediatric.
Go down, please.
One moment, let me finish this. Okay. And then we can do internal medicine. Okay, so in that way, every time you create an object, you will create a static array list, and then you will add all these elements into the. So the constructor, it's possible because it's done only once. Okay, but here, and it's a constant. It says, did it say it's a constant? No, just static. Yeah, and it's a constant. We can do also public static final. So to make it a constant.
You didn't use it in the
Yeah, I didn't ask to make it a constant, but
Set the parameter of constructor.
yeah. So you have two ways. Either you use this one or use the other one. But I'm going to go back to the other one because it makes it in line. Arrays dot as list. Okay. General. Pediatric. And internal medicine. Okay. So
We call it a set now.
yeah, now it's okay. So do we have to add something else? Is there any specific attribute? It has a new attribute called department. Okay. So here we have private. What is its type of string? Department. And of course here we have to add it into our constructor. We have to add set and get method for the department. Insert code. Okay. And then we will use set department. Is it clear? Represent the department of the doctor and must be equal to one of the values in the department list. Okay. So here we have data validation for the department, set department. If what?
Department.
Yeah. Dot contains department. In this case, we do the assignment. Okay, so we use contains. If the array list contains the department, then what is the data validation here? What is the data validation? So what does it say? Look, it has a new attribute department that represents the department of the doctor and must be equal to one of the values in the department list. Okay, so in order to be valid, it must be contained in this list. So we do this validation. Okay, and here we will do else. We will throw an exception. Wrong department. Okay, and probably this is something that was confusing for you, is to override the set employee that was done before. There is no problem. Now here it says that set employee ID is valid if it starts with the letter D. So for a general employee, it starts with EM. Like for a doctor, we're not going to use this version, but we will define our own version here. Okay, so we will override the method employee ID, and then what is the condition? Starts with the letter D. It also finishes with letter D in addition to starting with EM and having 10 characters. واضح ولا لا؟ It's very simple. But yeah, we can do like this. If employee ID starts with EM and what?
It ends with the
Employee ID dot ends with D. Okay, in this case what we can do, this dot employee ID equal. So we cannot use employee ID here.
Because it's private.
So,
That's
We will use super dot set employee ID. Okay.
come on.
We will use super. Here we need to use super. Why we don't use set employee ID?
Because we are calling the method from the hospital.
Eh. So for sure we need to use set employee ID, صح ولا لا?
Yes.
Okay, so by default you say, okay, I'm going to do like this.
So you-
Now here you cannot use it inside set employee ID لأنه in this case it's going to call itself. تبقى تنادي في نفسها. Okay, it's going to be recursive. So we want to call the here it's confusing. So for example, if I do here set, if I do here set employee ID مثلا anything, and I don't have this one. So set employee ID is going to bring the value from the super.string. There is no confusion. But now we have defined set employee ID again. So now we have two versions, the one of the subclass and the one of the superclass. Now our intention here is to call the one of the superclass. Okay, so we need to use super.set employee ID. And by the way, it is not even necessary to make all these conditions. You can do it like this. Why?
Because we are calling this condition.
Yeah, لأنه super.employee ID already makes the validation for length equal to 10 and starting with EM. Okay, so it can be as simple as this one. Okay, that's fine. Anything more? Employee ID, whether it is equal to any of the values of the department, implement the class doctor. Yeah, that's it.
For الاري ليست ما حطيت بالبارامتر
Mhm.
constructor
Yes.
او another attribute يوجد
لا لأنه static هنا. It's a class attribute, not an object attribute. احنا مش قلنا static. What does it do static? Define it for the whole class. We don't use it in the constructor. The constructor you use to initialize the attributes for the object. واضح? But static, you know, it just initializes once. Okay? It doesn't change from one object to another. You can do it, but it doesn't make sense.
not give me
No, yeah, it doesn't make sense. واضح ولا لا؟ So I think the difficulty was more here. And also maybe here. Do you have a toString method here? No. So it's going to use the one for hospital ID. So what's remaining?
This
So the test class complete the missing code in hospital test. Create one patient. So we have here hospital test. Where is hospital test?
there's no hospital.
Okay. Hospital test. So here we need to do public static void main because you are in the test class. String args. And complete the missing code in the test class. No, this one. You don't need it. Create the patient and one doctor. Then provide the following output when printed. Okay. ما في ولا شيء هنا. We just need to create one patient and one doctor. What's the difficulty here? Patient P equal new patient. Okay, now the problem maybe is in the composition. You have contact and you have okay, so patient now. Look, let's make things very simple. These are the different attributes. Let me bring them in front of me. أول حاجة first name. Okay, this is simple. And then the second is last name. It's here. And then what do I have here? Contact. I will write contact. Okay, contact patient. And then patient ID. What is the patient ID? This one. And then the array list of report. Does it have anything? We can do new array list of medical report, and that's it. Just create a list that is empty. Okay, and contact patient. This is of a contact class. I'm going to create just before contact equal new contact, and I will check my constructor. I go to the contact class and it has the following attributes. I will bring them. Okay, because here we have multiple composition. Okay, I finished with the patient. So I have here address, patient. Okay, mobile phone, patient. Okay, or mobile patient, and home or home phone patient. What is the type of phone? So phone is actually a class. So I need to create this one as well. Address, patient address equal new address. I go to the address class. Where is the address class? Here. Okay, it has a street also. Here the difficulty is because we have multiple compositions, one box inside. But to make it easier, you do it like I'm doing it now. Okay, if you write it just in one line, it's going to be maybe a little bit cumbersome. So just try to expand it. Okay, and it will be much easier. Okay, I'm going to bring this one. So this is, now what do we have? We have street, patient. We have city. What is the city now? Riyadh. Okay, and we have here the country, Saudi Arabia. Okay. And now I have to create what? I have to create the street. Okay, so I'm going to make street patient equal new street. I will go to the street class. فيها number ونame وquarter. That is simple. Okay, so I go here. Number اللي هو 10. بعد number ايش؟ name. Okay, name اللي هو هذا. It's not a problem. Okay, and then quarter. Okay, now street is fine. شو بقى عندي mobile phone وhome phone. Okay, I will create them. So phone mobile patient equal new phone. I will go to the phone class. It has 1, 2, 3. Okay, it has these 3 attributes. I will bring them. Okay, what is the area code? There is no phone here, right? Okay, let me write any phone number. It's a string. 966 مثلا, and then area code مثلا 011.
No, there is a phone.
There is a
last time.
What is the phone? This one. Okay, this is the mobile 05, and then this is the number over here, and then home phone patient. I will do the same thing. Phone equal a new phone. Okay, 011. And array list must be imported. Okay, so the difficulty here is because you have many composition. So very simple. When you go to the outside box and then you make the inside one by one until you go in the deepest one. Okay, and then you will have everything done. Look, now we have made the mobile phone object, the home phone object, the street object, the address object, the contact object, and so on. And finally, all of this, look now, if you look at patient, you have contact. It's okay, contact now, I'm going to create it. Now it has address, it has mobile phones. So address contains street. Okay, so I do the street, then I do the phone, then everything is going to be fine. So we will do the same thing for the doctor. You know, this, it's the same principle. Wada? Yes.
Is this the only way to list the class?
What do you mean?
Is it the shorter way to?
I can write everything in one line. I can write everything. I can write here like this. I can do the following. New contact. Okay. And here I'm going to make new address.
Address patient.
ايش الخطأ؟ دقيقة نشوف. نعود من الأول. So I can do like this. The P1. Okay. Okay. So I can do here a new contact. Look. Let me put contact in one line because it's going to be very long. Okay. And then I will bring a new address. Okay. I will bring a new phone here. And a new phone here. And then inside address, I have a street. I will create a new street. You know, if you do it in this way, it's going to work, but it's very complicated. Okay, so what we did, we have expanded it in many small objects, and then we use these objects. واضح? Okay, so now this is the solution. I'm going to put the video online so you can review it. And tomorrow we will do another exercise about the sensor class. Okay.
Can you go